All the retail shops on Liberty Street were lit up like Christmas trees for the holiday season, with storefront windows filled with holiday delights. There were only 15 shopping days left until Christmas. Princess was selling luggage sets, and at Brown's you could buy baby booties, and over at Bartholomew's you could buy The Lady in Your Life a beauty set. It was Saturday night, and that meant hundreds of shoppers would be bundled up, crossing the streets, some out for dinner, and afterwards to Isley's for an ice cream delight. The church bells at St. Pat's rang throughout town for evening mass. All was well. The next day came quietly. Families were gathering around their radio sets for afternoon entertainment.
Here's the whistle. Merrill Condon comes up. He boots it. It's a long one down to around the 3-yard line. Ward Cup takes it. He's cutting up to his left. He's over the 10. Nice block there by Lehman. Cup still going. He's up to the 25. And now he's hit hard about the 27-yard line. Bruiser Kennard made the tackle. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this important bulletin from the United Press. Flash, Washington. The White House announces Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Stay tuned to WOR for further developments, which will be broadcast immediately as received.
I imagine that news came as quite a shock to many. After all, America had never been attacked on their homelands, and I'm sure it shook people to the core. 3 local boys were stationed at Wheeler Field, Hawaii: Anthony Talone, Reed Manross, and James Storm. Harry Knock and Paul Snyder were at the Honolulu base. Yeoman First Class James Logue, he was aboard the USS Enterprise, and Captain Robert Walker and Frampton Plummer, they were also on the island. And after a quick search on Ancestry, I think they all made it home. It's quite likely that the surprise attack ignited Peg Feldman's patriotic spirit, as she was soon off with her stenography skills to Washington, D.C. to assist with the war effort. According to talks that she gave to the local community in the late 1940s, the OSS was established to collect, assemble, analyze, and distribute secret information to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Now, I could not determine her true job during her time with the OSS. There was a biography printed in the mid-60s and stating that she was a liaison officer during her time in D.C. So I asked AI to explain the position to me, and it's very likely that she was tasked with facilitating communication between the Allied forces and foreign governments, of course, to share information on the missions. She claimed that she worked with agents representing all races, classes, and creed, and they were recruited from nations such as Spain, Portugal, and Sweden. She also never stated how she was recruited for the OSS, and I'd be willing to guess that she was approached while living in New York City. Let's face it, the OSS during World War II was basically made up of socialites, Hollywood actors and businessmen, bankers, athletes, the A-listers, high society. And now that the records have been declassified, we have learned that Julia Childs, Moe Berg, Marlene Dietrich, they were all part of the oh-so-social bunch. Of course, anything is possible. It could have been by happenstance that she ended up there. But I've been at this a long time and able to read between the lines. I read in the Society News in March of 1941 that she had returned from a 6-week stay in North Carolina, and there was no other context. And those society gals, they like to report what they are doing, who they're doing it with, and always what they are wearing. In my research, I discovered that Donovan had clandestine training camps in the national parks in Maryland and Virginia. Now, of course, I have no proof whatsoever, and this is pure speculation, but I think it's possible that she was training for something in March of 1941. We all know that boot camp's about 13 weeks, and these training camps were anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. And she was quite the athlete when she was in high school. She definitely had the means and the abilities. So I think she would have been an ideal candidate for the recruiters early on in the program. And don't forget, she reportedly left for Washington, D.C. just 1 week after the attack, so she must have known where she was going. But regardless of how she got the job, she proudly served her country in a civilian capacity, and she spent the remainder of her adult life promoting world peace. In 1951, she spearheaded the Crusade for Freedom campaign and donated the funds for the purchase of radios for Eastern Europeans living behind the Iron Curtain. She also helped to fund the transportation of over 100 peoples by train across the border into the American zone in Germany. She was born into a family with means, and it appears that she lived a quiet life of servitude and travel, choosing service to others in a sleepy little town where her grandfather found his way with diamonds and glitter. Julius Feldman was known as the jeweler to the new oil elite. He kept their time, he provided their sparkle and shine. From walking canes to flatware, wedding rings, and tablescapes, it appears he had it all, with his gems and stones from foreign lands displayed in his new storefront. With all the fancy carriages meandering down Liberty Street, made their way to his front door because he brought the palace to the new oil kings, and he brought all the royal trappings to the new cosmopolitan city of Franklin, a nursery of great men.